Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Monday, December 27th at 11:33 a.m. We're on time today. We got to get this party started. We got a lot of content to talk about. Got two distinct topics that are on my mind. Clearly, they're not related whatsoever, but these are the things that I think of just before the stream, and they're meaningful to talk about. I've been talking about narratives this morning, so that was the idea about tax loss harvesting. So I'll hit that one real quick. So, in brevity, you hear about tax loss harvesting at the end of a fiscal year, and what comes to my mind is that don't you wish it was not a loss to be harvested? Meaning, if you're tax loss harvesting, that's indicative of a narrative adjustment being needed going into the next year, and that's the first thing I thought of. And it came to my mind because we literally have nothing to tax loss harvest in 2021. And it was just an observation, just an analysis of my transactions. I don't have anything to sell that's at a loss. But if you do have something to sell, one, it's good for a tax loss to lock that in. And it's just indicative that a narrative adjustment is needed heading into the next year. You got to reassess. You got to tell the stories. You got to figure out what the heck's going on, why it's going on, where the market's going, who's building what kind of technology is iterating, and all that fancy shit that helps you understand the directionality of a market. And then now, what better time to do it than right now? Obviously, there's a couple of days left in the year. A lot of folks are thinking about tax loss harvesting, but it's not to just get out and get back into the same asset. Make a pivot. Redefine the story. And that's how you step it up. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. I have been wrong many times. And course correction during the year made things pan out for the year as a whole. But if a narrative is invalidated, you pivot. Um, and it's an interesting thing because narratives can be correct in the long term, but wrong in the short term. So, you know, one thing that comes to mind was 2016. I took big positions in battery metal miners, lithium, cobalt, nickel, and graphite, and it was so wrong. That was so early. But with the inflation of commodities prices right about now, if you look at like lithium prices, they're up like multiples, which is crazy. So it could be wrong for years, and it could be very painful. Being wrong is indistinguishable. Being early is indistinguishable from being wrong in so many ways. So pain. That was a very painful couple of years, but finally seeing a bit of indication with the battery metal miners, and that's nice to see. But we're here to talk about cryptocurrencies. Let's pop it over to the main screen and see who's in the stream. You got Curve up on the chart. It looks like a beauty. Look at them green guppies on the weekly. There was never green guppies on the weekly. We never had green guppies on the weekly. So obviously the chart is relatively new. It's less than 2 years old. And this is the way the chart prints. This is the paint. This is the tape. This is the way these indicators manifest for this particular price action over this period of time. And it's a beauty. I think this fork is spot on, and it's highlighting some interesting geometry to the price action. What's really interesting is this top green line. So this was this wick. So obviously we had our hyperinflationary decay, but we had a bounce back up, and it got stopped at this top green line. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see it better. So we closed the weekly above that historic weekly price resistance. Now, obviously, we're falling back down. We'll see how this week goes. This week, we don't want like a bearish engulfing. We don't want like a hanging man. We don't want a shooting star. We want to see some technically positive candles. Maybe it finds support on the midline, the fork midline. That'd be nice to see. There's no real moving averages up this high in the weekly, but you could go down to like the 4 hour and see some stuff. Got a convergence of the 200 SMA and the 100 SMA in the 4 hour. Got some nice guppies, so there's nice support. And that, I mean, look at the midline. The midline is above the bottom of the green guppies on the 4 hour. So there's some nice support in play here. Not quite sure why I drew this big It's big fat. I mean, I guess the big green line, there's price action support. Price action support. So in October, there was previous high. So I was worried about a head and shoulders for a bit, but it was able to push above the green line. Now that's right. I drew that because of this ascending triangle with the white base right there. But if that holds, that's nice to see because this is above the neckline, so it's not really, a solid head and shoulders pattern, which it looked even worse on the daily, on the weekly. That did not look pretty. So the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, those are decent charts to look at to get a sense of what's going on. Zoom in there on the daily. Be nice to see that green line turn into support. I mean, there's a lot of guppies below, so there's a lot of upward support as per technicals. 50 SMAs in there. Where is it? There it is, right about there. 10 SMA is right and high. Where's the 10 SMA? You can see it right about there. The 10 SMA is right above the midline of the fork. That's good to see. Take a look at Spell real quick, and I'll get to some comments. I want to talk about Sushi. I got the Sushi chart up, obviously. So Spell's coming out strong starting the week, 2.57 cents. That I can't really say anything that's bearish about the technicals. Folks will see 85% as ridiculously volatile. TradFi, they don't understand it. They can't process it. But it's up. It's up 329% from the bottom off that 84% retrace. And that's an extraordinary appreciation considering how much depreciation it experienced. It's above the 10 SMA on the weekly. It's above the TWAP on the weekly. The TWAP's about to cross the 10 SMA. It's above the bottom bar of the fork. Be nice to see it get above the midline, but this is a very elevated fork because of where it came from. You could probably even draw it. Well, it looks like it goes back down to even its historic. Let's see if I could get it. Come on, fork. Nope. All right. It looks like it's more or less in line with its birthing price. That's birthing price down there, 0.000037. Woof! What a price. Um, so the fork, I think, looks good. I think the fib retrace looks good, almost getting above was it the 0.236? Almost above 236 already. That's incredible from where it was. Wick down below 0.786. Let's see where it gets to zero. Then the fib comes off, and we see where it's going from there. And to that, I'd look to the geometry of the fork. All right, it's pretty good. Let's see who's in the stream. Dan's in the house. Matt, good morning. Liv W, it's a pleasure. Good Christmas. Good Christmas with the family. Bitcoin, bro. Adrian, Killis, Risky, Charles, Bees Irish. Glad to catch the stream today. Charles, it's a pleasure. What protocol seems early now? There is no early. Everything is late. Everything's at a premium. The market's at a premium. Even sushi's at a premium, and that's what we're about to talk about. There's massive catalyst, and obviously this thing's up like 60, 70% for the week. Market cap 17.26%. Was that the daily? It's up 20% on the daily. I mean, the catalyst there is obviously the sushi proposal for tokenomics restructuring and just DAO management. And, you know, Danny and team's proposal is crushing it, absolutely crushing it. So this looks like it's going to play out. Um, Folks will have many opinions about it, but you could read the entire thing here. I'll put it in the stream for you guys to read the proposal, what's going on, what's likely to play out. They literally, just based on current voting, it looks like this is going to play out. This is a massive. This is this might be one of the most massive narratives going into 2022 is the sushi takeover by Frog Nation. Wow. Um, it's controversial. There is a bit of centralization, and folks will point that out. But we've seen what they can do, and I have a high opinion of what they have done what they continue to do, and I have high opinion of them. So this tickles my spidey senses. Well, with regard to taking positions, that's not something I generally talk about. I always say 1% to 10% changes everything, and that's how you grow a portfolio over the years. Um, and that's as deep as I go with regard to taking positions. But the narrative here is strong, very powerful shift in uh, what the protocol will do. And if you go to, I mean, literally just hear rhetoric. So rhetoric is surmises what may play out. And where is it? Oh my God, I can't find. I get so much activity sometimes. What did Danny just write? He wrote, getting 100% of the fees of Binance distributed to you. That's the future of sushi holders. A DEX owned by frogs, made by frogs. So what we've learned is that Abracadabra loves to buybacks. So it uses cash flow for buybacks. And Time and Wonderland's probably heading in a similar direction. So why would that not be the case with sushi? And as I always say, that focus on assets that pay you to hold them. Um, if an asset doesn't pay you to hold it, it's going to be sold. So the logical assets to own are the ones that pay people to not sell them. Um, it's very early, but we have obviously it takes time for such a massive revamping of the protocol implementation, governance, hierarchy, the organization, so on and so forth. But just generally, there's wonderful overtones and positive vibes given what's happened in 2021. Just the technology of what could potentially be is big, and it is just a massive uh, black hole sucking in all the awesomeness of Abracadabra, Wonderland, and Popsicle Finance. Um, is a There's such a massive synergy between these things. It's extraordinary. I can imagine everything in sushi just denominated in like UST and MIM. That'd be crazy. So this might be the biggest narrative going into 2022 right about now, in my opinion. Doesn't mean the other narratives are invalidated, and we got some big narratives going on, boys and girls. Seamless cross-chain interop. Was it layer zero? Renda, stuff like that. Um, Baron's hot. Baron Mim straight to BTC. That's some crazy stuff right there. What is this? This disintermediated protocol managed arbitrage cross-chain liquidity provisioning MEV mitigation and capture system. Sure, keep it DAO's there, and they're doing some big pivots. A little early, clearly, it doesn't have a revenue share component. It doesn't really pay hand over fist, as I like to say. But they're the MEV mitigation and capture system. Um, was it Alchemist is probably still on the radar, but I'd rather nowadays. I told you the story starting the stream about being early, and being too early is indistinguishable from being wrong. I'd rather be a little bit later nowadays. I've said that never early, never late, and I don't want to be early. I want to wait for assets that pay hand over fist, and or at least the sign that they're going to pay hand over fist. And I don't like to be super early nowadays. And I'm prudent, and I will not make the most gains. I don't take the most risk. And I know plenty of folks that have taken significantly more risk than me and have reaped astronomical gains in comparison. And that's all good. That's all good. And the reason I don't like to talk about that is because most people who are super early don't reap astronomical gains. So the vast majority shouldn't be doing that shit. Z Girl, Malik, Patrick, perfect timing for the stream. Heading to my contractor's house now to pay him from a new kitchen. Thanks, Abracadabra. Oh yeah, so yeah, I got my bathroom done too. It's hard to find folks to do work nowadays. Looking forward to getting some stuff done in 2022 as well. Fit Freak in the house, CJA, Shampoo, Butterfly. I'm more interested in the assets that Butterfly is accumulating rather than Butterfly itself. I've said that before. AR, no idea views on CVX CRV staking change as rewards go down? No. Uh, I expect by the time CVX CRV rewards get down to 5%, I'm not going to give a crap that they're 5%. So that is what I think. I think that the astronomical price appreciation over the coming years, 5%, is going to be extraordinary. I think the entire crypto space dilutes. I think just a couple $1 trillion flow in, you're going to have massive dilution of the revenue of the yield, and that is to be expected. This is early, 60, 70, 80, 100%. Even with like Ohm and Time, you can imagine those things down at 15, 20%. The only reason they're this high is because there's not a lot of capital in them. There isn't a $500 billion in them, and you got to remember these numbers seem big to you, a couple $1 billion here and there, but the world operates in quadrillions of dollars. That's how little the dollars are valued. The world operates in multitudes of quadrillions of dollars. So the amount of money in the crypto space is frankly zero. So these yields will dilute, and they will dilute significantly. That's the deal. Liv W, do you own Sushi yourself, or are you LPing anywhere to earn it? I took a 1% position. Axel B, hey Noah, wanted to be part of the CVX CRV protocol, start gaining cash flow, but fees are too high for me. I don't see a point of owning Curve without any cash flow. Sure, but you're priced out, and that is true, and that's unfortunate. And you got to remember that a lot of what I try and think about is how to get folks started with crypto. And it's hard because the whole market's at a premium. There is no discounts. Everything is through the roof. If you're buying something, there's more odds that it will go down than up. Everything is vertical. Can have a significant deflationary impulse anytime. And we might not. But the point is, everything's up significantly 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x compared to 2021. So I want to remind folks that really shouldn't be looking at the crypto space for asymmetric returns. Trying to look at the crypto space to get ultra wealthy more often than not leads to the opposite result. What you want to do is two things. You want to get rich slowly. You want to define narratives. You want to attach to narratives. You want to stick to the stuff that I talk about. 1% to 10% changes everything. If you get in 15, 20% on dollars in a stablecoin position, oh my God, over time that will change everything. And you take the 1% bets, and the 1% bets turn into 10% over the next year or two. So you got to stop trying to get rich in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. You got to start trying to get rich in 5, 10, 15 years. And the odds are, if you focus and structure the portfolio to get wealthy in 5, 10, 15 years, it'll happen sooner because you'll have a well-structured portfolio. And a well-structured portfolio, a well-respected portfolio will respect you and will do well upon you. That's the deal. If you treat your portfolio with respect, it will respect you. If you abuse the portfolio, take excess risk, allocate too much to a position, don't ape, don't understand the narrative. Most don't succeed. Now there's great stories in the crypto space. There's wonderful personalities, some of which I consider myself relatively close to at this point, that have done extraordinarily well. But that's not what will happen with the majority. So just be careful out there. The markets are at a premium. Sup, Posh, do you think Danny really can make Sushi surpass Uni? Well, the bottom line is this proposal is extraordinary for synergy with Wonderland, Abracadabra, and Popsicle Finance. The synergy is extraordinary. I don't think I've ever seen synergy between companies in the legacy finance or companies, protocols in the crypto space like this. The potential for what this can be with Popsicle Finance facilitating capital efficiency and liquidity management or cross-chain liquidity, as I talked about in my 2022 narratives, and Abracadabra for the stablecoin as the base pair, and Danny likes his UST and his Luna and Frax as well. I'm sure that'll make its way in there as it becomes increasingly decentralized and DPI rolls out and less USDC is on the books and stuff like that in the coming year in 2022. Big narrative for Frax in 2022. Um, and Abracadabra and Wonderland just as like a hedge fund. I mean, just the narratives here. This narratives are just like mind-bendingly like, is this shit really happening? Is this really happening? It, that's really the best I could probably say to describe what's playing out. It's like, is this real? Holy crap! It's like jaw on the floor. Like what what Danny and his little crew are doing is extraordinary. His influence, his charisma, his presence, everything about when he talks, it's quite intoxicating, and that's a good quality. It's a wonderful quality, wonderful personality. 2022 is going to be hot. Uh, DeFi Toshi. Noah, talk. I did talk about tax loss harvesting in the first couple minutes. Just in brevity, obviously sell for a tax loss, lock it in. You don't want to pay. You want to pay as little as possible. But if you're tax loss harvesting, just remember narrative pivot going into 2022. It means you have the wrong narratives, and really reassess the narratives you hold and you get positions in heading into 2022. Brian, would you pick up a 1% worth of portfolio sushi on ETH or something like AVEX? I operate predominantly on Ethereum. Um, I barely have anything on Avalanche or Phantom, albeit I have Spirit on Phantom. I have obviously Geist and Blizz. That's about it. But those are literally like 0.2% of the portfolio. They're microscopic positions. So the vast majority of what I do is on Ethereum mainnet. Foo Bear, hi. Austin Captain, have you seen Don't Look Up? Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool movie. I liked it very much. I liked it because every damn meteorite movie, everyone lives in the end, but everyone the world perishes and the assholes that got off the planet they ended up perishing as well 22,000 years later. Anyway, I don't want to be a spoiler. That was a fun movie and just so sarcastic, and that's the world we live in. Everyone's a bunch of dumbasses, so they really hit the nail on the head with a lot of their ideas in that movie. Paul got in Blizz and locked at 250. Ooh, goodness, that's brutal. Yeah, I know, my friend. I know. This is why we stick to those tiny positions, 0.5%, 1% of the portfolio. So when the pain happens, it's not that painful. But if you catch a 1% to 10%, that's clearly the right direction, and that changes everything. Joe, I had some sushi exposure prior to Grim Exploit. I consolidated down to my key positions after losing 15% of my portfolio. I guess it's all part of the game, never using an auto compounder again. Yeah. Stay concentrated. Stick with the big names, the big brands. You don't need to head too far out into the risk curve to make it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Trying to make $1 million in a month is what kills everyone. So, foot off the accelerator. Take your time, be patient. Don't make a move until you have a rigorous narrative. You dinner table investing, boys and girls. You can't sit down at the dinner table and tell a hell of a story. Stop. Define the story, tell the story, and then, only then, take a position. Curve is on Polygon. So yeah, there's plenty of places to get exposure. Curve is on everything. Curve is on Polygon, Avalanche, Phantom, Arbitrum, Harmony One. I'm pretty sure they're on Harmony One. They're on everything. Vasco, what do you think about Spirit Liquid Driver? Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I probably would have if I had extra capital. I'm happy it's going up. Good. LQDR. I'm happy if you're doing well. I don't have a position. I don't need a position. Can't own everything you want to own, nor do you need to own everything you want to own, or something like that. Jake, Merry Christmas. Always a pleasure. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Grabbed the sushi bag yesterday. Yeah, you did good. You got about 20% rip today. Keyless, Noah is a wise or. I'm a something or. I appreciate that. Wise, hi there, Noah. If your followers are priced out from Curve and Ethereum, then they need to get a Harmony. Right? That's right. Curve's on Harmony. My man. Thank you very much for answering that. The fees are a fraction of a cent. Yeah, Harmony's cool. Very low. You get a curve position, but there's no volume compared to the other chains. But I mean, Phantom is pretty cheap as well, and frankly, Polygon is pennies as well. Too. Point being, there's plenty of ways to gain exposure to these assets. But bear in mind, you guys are talking about taking a curve position. The curve is all-time high. This is basically all-time high price territory. It was never $7.04. No, I'm sorry. The top green line. Let's go out to the weekly so you guys can see. This is all-time high. Anyone buying Curve right now is buying at its all-time high price. This stuff up here doesn't count. It was in hyperinflationary collapse. The fact that it's up here now, after all this price action, this is the most expensive it has ever been rationally. So just remember that when you take a position. There is no rational reason to think that this asset cannot get hammered if there is a macroeconomic event or the stock market takes a shit. But, that being said, the S&P is just going vertical today. All-time high. All-time highs. I mean, this thing is just going vertical. So, follow Bobby Lee because he's got. Maybe he's right. Maybe markets quadruple. So, and then and Luke Groman. I don't see how they could take the foot off the accelerator with digressing into macro talk for 2 seconds. If they were going to fight inflation, they should have. They would have been fighting it already. It's like Paul Volcker said, you have to tackle inflation before it sets in. Otherwise, it just keeps spiraling and it has momentum. So there's a reason why they're not attacking it as aggressively as they need to in order to crush inflation, because that would destroy the markets and the entire system has become financialized, meaning the economy is the market. The markets tank, GDP tanks, and then they can't pay their tax bills. And that's like Luke Groman's ideology that at 130% debt to GDP, they have to inflate away the debt, which triggers inflation, and inflation just spirals. What was it, like 1% of countries, just like Japan, was able to do this type of QE and inflation without being destroyed by hyperinflation. It's like he said, like 99% of countries that hit 130% debt to GDP die in hyperinflation. So we'll see where this heads. Clearly, it could just go straight up, or it could come crashing down, and that's the whole point. The volatility, wherever it's going to go. If it's going to go up, it's going to go really, really, really up, or it's going to go down. It's going to go really, really, really down. That's the deal. Partial, do you see LP as a token that pays you to hold them? So LPs are, yes, I do. But you can't think of the token as the underlying component. It'll drive you nuts. So when Sushi started its new proposal rip because of the Dow vote, there was the two big withdrawals of LP providers because they didn't want the impermanent loss. So it's hard to look at an LP position as not the underlying component, but that's really what they are. It's a derivative asset that's no longer the underlying component. It has, price action properties of the underlying component, but what's most pertinent is the revenue stream, the interest. But if you get 20% on an LP position, I mean, fine. If you have $1 million, you get 200 grand a year. $10 million, you get $2 million a year. That's nice, but if you got like $1,000, 20% kind of sucks. So you end up going in, going out, going in, going out, and moving capital all around. You'll be the rotator for like 2 months, and before you know it, you spend $2,000 on gas fees on the original $2,000 position. So this is why you gotta. Nowadays, I have the hindsight knowledge to be able to say, pause, stop, define the narrative first, be prudent, and take action only once there's high conviction. Daniel was on an Italian podcast last night talking about full order book decks on Sushi, similar to SRM. Dude, when he's talking about full order book decks, that's crazy. What he has in mind, if that emerges, evolves, gets iterated toward, that's crazy, crazy software. Crazy software. And if he has like FTX on board and Sam and backing and stuff like that, this is going to head in a very interesting direction. Vasco, you just blew off my mind with that sentence. Only MIM UST on Sushi. This means a lot for Luna burn, which means price will go crazy. Yeah, the potential for Luna is very big. I have no Luna exposure. I don't think I need it. I um, I think it's a very critical systemic component of the crypto space, and you can't own everything you want to own, and that's okay. Bear in mind, Luna is at a premium. It's the highest price it's ever been. This thing is at the top of the charts. It's literally the ninth most highest market cap asset in the entire crypto space. So sure, it could double, triple, it could go 10x from here, but that would reshape the entire crypto space narrative if it did. So we buy at a discount. You don't buy at a premium. At a premium, what you're doing is thinking about where the heck the market's going, and hopefully you bought when it was 90% cheaper. Now is not when to buy. Now is not when you get into assets. Now is when you take capital and you accumulate the cash flow so you have it. So when the market shits itself, you're able to buy cash flow on the cheap. And that's Warren Buffett's ideology. Note the names that we're talking about on the stream today. Lots of big names, lots of ideology and how they look at the market and how they attack the market. And of all people that attack the market, it's Warren. That's who I like. He had it right because it's simple. It's so simple. So this is not when to buy, folks. This is when you're figuring out what to buy when the market shits itself. And if the market doesn't shit itself, eventually it will. And there will be an opportunity. There always is. It's human nature. Doe, how do I earn rewards yield on Curve? Do I buy Curve? When do I swap? Yes. When you no Curve into CVX CRV. Well, you know, I don't see it as a taxable event. I see it as a deposit and a mint. So it's more akin to a bank account and a receipt. Yet the IRS doesn't give any guidance. So I don't want to get into IRS tax guidance because there is none. And that's how you do it on Convex. You deposit Curve and you get CVX CRV. So bear in mind, you get 50% on your money, but it's kind of the same thing. Market's at an ultra premium. If you came into the crypto space for like $1,000, $2,000, you're buying at the highest price point ever on a weekly close for Curve. It is more likely that prices go down than up for a lot of assets. So if it's the entire market, could keep going up. I always say that because I want folks to be prepared for when shit hits the fan, they didn't put all their money into the space. You want to buy when the market's bleeding. And there's plenty of chances. I mean, look, let's go out to the daily on Curve. Curve was just $2.89 a couple of days ago. You know what I'm saying? It was literally less than a month ago. Curve was $2.89. And it got hammered hard, guys. So it's not worth it FOMOing. What is that, price? No, I need price range. I mean, Curve literally, could you imagine? It took a 60% shit in like a week. Now's not when you buy. You buy when it's blood red, when it takes a 60% crap and you're like, oh my god, it's never going to go up again. Oh, but it's above the 200 SMA in the daily. Or oh wow, and it look, if you bought here at 372 and the wick back up of the 100 SMA in the daily. You know how bullish that damn wick is? That's such a bullish wick. So you got it at 372. You're afraid it's wicking below the 100 SMA, but that's a good price point. It held support above the 100 SMA on the daily. I mean, frankly, even if you had a higher risk profile and you bought on the wick down, and you're like, oh, and it didn't go down, like this red bar would have been down here. You're like, all right, it held the 200 SMA in the daily. There's a buy, and that's exactly why it wicked back up to this price point on the close on the daily, because people were buying it. Like, oh my God, it didn't go below the 200 SMA. This is the time to buy, and that's the time to buy. That's the time to buy. DeFi Toshi, thoughts on Luna facing heavy regulation? Yeah, they're going to get hammered. I'm bullish on regulation trying to hammer the crypto space. I think they're in for some serious lobbying, and the crypto space has literally DAOs that could rally $1 billion, and I don't think I don't think they've provoked the crypto space enough to have the reaction that they could potentially have. The crypto space throws around billions and billions of dollars, and that could tie up any legislation in courts for years. Billions of dollars. I mean, literally, could you imagine? I think 100% of the people in the crypto space would contribute to a DAO that's paying 90,000% APY, and the Treasury is used to finance legal action against the U.S. government. Oh, that'd be crazy, because that's what basically Olympus showed us, that they could sell crypto bonds for purposes of accumulating capital to achieve particular ends, and maybe they throw memes and throw some, you know, crafty user interface around the valuation of the asset by how many lawyers are on the team. Oh, this DAO supports 11 lawyers. That's why this asset has value. And that's literally all it is. That's what value is. It's a psychological construct, a psychological play. Oh, the Dow is up to 11 lawyers. Oh, we just got a 12th lawyer. The Dow spikes 15% because the Dow just got another lawyer. Oh, we just did great in court, up 50%. It's winning. The Dow's winning. So stuff like that, you can imagine, and that's game theory type stuff. It's all game theory. No ample powder monkey. Second set Mays, Captain. How do you decide your votes? Me is Frax. Yeah, so the votes need to be claimed, otherwise, so there's a taxable event. That's it. Very simple. Um, Collect earnings. I opt for Frax because they're paying like $7 million this week. I think it's going to be literally like a $10,000 week in bribes. That's crazy. Harshal, if 1% turns to 10%, do you invest more in the narrative? Well, we buy the winners, we sell the losers. Do you upgrade 10% to 50% thinking about LQDR? I'm not in that at all. But we buy the winners, sell the losers, which leads to concentration. You want a concentrated portfolio. I'll give you my portfolio breakdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 assets, 9 core assets. Well, technically, of those 9 core assets, two assets constitute 74% of the portfolio. So 74% concentrated in 2 assets. Popsicles at 8%, Frax 5, Convex 4, Ren 2, Sushi 1, Cosmos 1, Keeper 1. Got a little polka dot down there. These percentages are not how to craft the portfolio. I did not buy this portfolio construction. I did not buy 40% of my portfolio worth of spell. Did not. I put 1% into spell. Please understand that, guys. I put 1% of my portfolio into spell. So do not go out there and buy these percentages. That would be a mistake, a potentially devastating mistake. You have to have a process and follow that process. And if that process works, you get to look back in 10 years and say you followed your process. And that's a story you want to tell at the dinner table. You can earn 20% plus, Curve Rewards, try Crypto Pool, and Arbitrum. Yes, indeedy. Productive asset. Yellow Mel, sorry if you already answered, but what were your thoughts CVX FXS. I wish my VEFXS was CVX FXS, but it's okay. It'll be all right. I like it. I think Frax has big potential. They control a huge amount of power of the over the convex platform, and that is power. Power is power. Bottom line. Um, Jacob, my man, really. Heirloom, thanks for being on. No, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. We, the crypto people, I only earn CRV and CVX stable pools. Try crypto. Let it collect over time. Time in the market beats time in the market. Robert Hasselton. I remember seeing Cope about someone buying Curve at 50 when it dropped on Binance. Ooh, God. Oh, that's painful. Very painful. Kill us 20 to 29% Curve, 3 stable, Curve pool. Haven't checked in a bit though. Cash flow, baby. Harshal, Happy New Year. I'm going to wrap it up in a minute. Let me see if I could get a couple more questions in. Foo Bear, Spirit Swap. Yep. Yeah, I know what they're doing with Liquid Driver. Um, no GameFi, DeFi Toshi for me, except Gods Unchained because I like playing that stuff. I got the coolest deck. It's so much fun. But for people wanting a curve play, Spirit is cheap. Yes, but speculatively, Foo Bear, that's the deal. It's all about speculative. It's all about risk reward. And watch those position sizes, boys and girls. Kill us. Where do you see Spell going? Oh, I don't want to talk price targets. Up. I expect it to go up. I expect it to be popular. People want to own it. It pays you. People want to own things that pay you. People want to own things that pay people. So I only talk in directionality, up or down, and sell the stuff that's going down, and you buy the stuff that's going up. One curious view. Hey Noah, have you seen that you can pay your own rebases to a separate address? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Ahmed, hey Noah, based on recent sushi updates, at what point do you need to see metric wise before you deploy capital into position? Yeah, well, the metric that caught my fancy was the vote. I mean, this vote's going through. That's crazy. Danny's going to be busy. So that's once you see something that's like, whoa, that's when you deploy. But don't over deploy. If you over deploy, you could get hurt bad. But you know, that's the deal. Risk reward. Watch the risk curve. Watch the position size. 1% to 10% changes everything. Just farm curve people. Yeah, man. Listen, Simba, you hit the nail on the head, in my opinion. Folks overthink the crap out of the crypto space. I'm just spread out as I am because the portfolio has grown and branched out in so many ways. But I didn't buy these positions at this size. I bought Frax at like $3. I bought Cosmos at like $2. It's $31. I bought Popsicle at $3. Bought Curve at 40 cents. Spell at 0.000.0006 cents. So that's the only reason my portfolio looks like it does. There was a point where I was like 90% Curve. And it just printed, especially when convex came along. Just printed. So curve and convex is a big deal. It's a big deal in my opinion. You don't need a lot of assets. You need the narratives. What's the narratives? What's the biggest narratives? Yeah, DeFi Toshi, right? I'm telling you. The DAOs will spike a new lawyer. That would be massive news. Doesn't that make sense? The way like gamification and NFTs and whole meme thing works? That'd be so bullish. John, call me crazy. Things maybe seem expensive now, but I like assets showing relative strength. Yeah, no, it's not crazy. It's the truth. Um, DeFi Toshi. Vasco, I'm not FOMOing, waiting for a 50% discount on shitcoins. Yeah. I mean, clearly, it's not easy. It isn't easy. Live W, are you able to stake your Atom to earn on it? Yeah, you go to Osmosis. But frankly, Atom just stakes unto itself. Inherently has an inflation rate. So Atom and Cosmos hubs are very productive. You go over to osmosis. I'm not logged in, but there's a lot. And there's big yield. Let's see if the APR will load. All right, fine. I'll log in. Hold on. Use the Kepler wallet on osmosis. I bought this, dude. I don't even remember when I bought Atom. I must have bought it in like, I don't even remember. Seriously. Damn, osmosis at 633. 62% on Iris. That's pretty cool. Wow. That's pretty cool. I haven't looked at this in a while. I have not looked at this. Cool. Wow, look at it. Ooh, and you got Luna here. Ooh, and you got Terra. Ooh. Ooh, it's expanding. That's good to see. That's pretty cool. I just kind of let this sit nowadays. That's pretty cool. That conflicts with MetaMask, so I log out. Noah, you bullish on Pickle's gauge system? Yes, but there's literally no momentum whatsoever with Pickle. It's kind of off the radar of everyone. So I'm bullish on the narrative. I'm bullish on the curve monetary policy expanding and iterating into 2022. I think the Yearn pivot is the best example of the success of the curve monetary policy. I'm going to wrap it up. Great stream today. Frog Takeover. Thoughts on Ren 2022? I look forward to it. I have the Ren Dark nodes, and I'm going to operate them. No idea what it's going to do. That thing was up at $1.70, hovered around $1 for a while, just bottom bounced to like 40, 50 cents. I don't care. I don't look at it. Once I was in at 6 cents, I'm just going to sit on it. I think the narrative for Ren is exactly what I want to be attached to in 2022. Cross-chain interoperability, seamless cross-chain swaps, this big stuff, and like Sushi plays into that. Layer Zero, Ren, a bunch of others. It's the narrative, and what will outperform, I have no idea, but the narrative is big. It's big. I got a lot of NFTs. CDA, the man. Got a lot of NFTs. Thanks, Captain. What resource author might suggest for learning more about narratives? Well, Real Vision. Between Real Vision Macro and Real Vision Crypto, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. A lot of content there. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. Monday, December 27th, 12:21 p.m. I thank everyone for joining me. As always, it's a pleasure. The best time of my day. Tell everyone to subscribe. After party on Discord. You know where we're at. Everyone's hanging out in there. It's the most rational place in the crypto space. I cleaned up my Ask vids a little bit earlier today. I got some more videos out. If anyone has anything they want to ask, look, I got another one. I'm more than happy. Wow, 294 videos I posted already. That's pretty cool. If anyone has any videos, I'll pop this in the chat. It's also in the comment in this video description. But I wish you all a wonderful day, and I will see you on Wednesday as we prep for 2022. Peace.